Another animated project turned into a live action product for the mainstream. Because that's gone well in the past, right? Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another YouTube video. And today, man, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, hopefully, we're gonna be talking about that new Avatar: The Last Airbender trailer that came out a few days ago. I'm such a huge Avatar: The Last Airbender fan. Like, who isn't if you've grown up in the 2000s? Like, that show means so much to me. The storytelling, the voice acting, the animation, everything about that show is just like perfect to me. Like, I have no issues with it. Even some of the episodes where I'm like, you could actually, I don't think this show really has many of those for me. Like, I just genuinely have such a great time with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Every single time I rewatch it or just see it like pop up on TikTok or Twitter or see a clip, like, I'm always engaged because that show is just such a prime example of peak storytelling. There's just so much they do right with that show that like literally is inspired how I've done my art, how I write scripts, just all of that. So to say I'm attached to the franchise is a bit of an understatement. The trailer dropped and I have thoughts. Here's the thing I wish these companies understood was that animation is there for a reason. Like, this show was animated for a reason. I saw a clip on Twitter the other day, and the clip was it was in the final season, I believe it was the final episode, where Zuko and Azula are having their fight and they're doing all the movements. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put the clip here where the blue and the from Azula and the orangish red fire from Zuko is coming and it's colliding, and it's animated so beautifully because the blue and the fiery orange are like touching and mixing and moving, and that's so beautifully done. And you could only get that in an animated format done that beautifully. And that's my issue with a lot of this trailer, is that, you know, Daniel Day Kim as Fire Lord Ozai and Paul Sin Hong Lee, I hope I'm getting his name wrong, I'm so sorry for him, as Iroh are both phenomenal casting. Everything else though, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer or want to sound like I'm hating too much on this trailer, because I do hope it's at least fun and enjoyable. I don't want everyone to crap on it or just hate on it, and I don't want to add to the hate pile that's already probably on this, but I do have genuine complaints. There's so much stuff that was done animated, and there was a video I saw, a reel on Instagram I saw, where it compared the shots that they took inspiration from the cartoon and bringing it to live action, and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, bro, animation solos. Like, when they go to oh my gosh, I'm a fan of the show, but like the lore sometimes gets mixed up in my head. But when they're going into the city where King Boomy is and we first see it and it's open wide, and you know, there's a key there where the sand, when it opens up the doors, shows and cues that's not present in live action. I think that's the little things of animation that matters. I'll say that, like, it's the little things from the animation and how it's done and all the story cues that you can tell within the animation that helps add to the story and adds to the show. And there's so many shots in here in the live action that just lack the animated sauce. I'm looking at all this stuff where we first see Aang, for example. In the cartoon, it's beautiful, beautiful blue. It's shining on Sokka and Kataro's face. But in the live action, it's just kind of like there. I mean, it's not ugly. It looks pretty fine. But in the animated, it's just 10 times better. And that's my thing here, is like, animation is such a beautiful storytelling format, and there's so much you can do with it that is just not being taken advantage of to the fullest in the live action show. And there's so much they can do, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, we haven't seen what the elements are gonna look like to its fullest extent. It looks like they're trying, so it's gonna be 10 times better than the movie. Obviously, we're not gonna need 500 people just to lift one rock. No, the movie is crazy. Oh my gosh, I remember when that movie came out, little kid, and you know, when you're a little kid, you just love everything. Oh my god, it'd be the worst thing you've ever seen, and you still love it as a kid. But I just remember coming out of that theater experience with one of my friends from Catholic school, and I was like, bro, this movie is terrible. Because I was watching the show at the same time, and it's just like, man, so much sauce in animation that really helps add to the storytelling of Avatar. And it's just like, I'm gonna talk more about that as we keep going along, and that's kind of the main thing I'm going at here. But as I said in the title, there's one thing that's missing. Well, multiple things, but I'm gonna talk about one thing that I noticed. So, of course, Appa and Momo's in here, and from what we've seen of Appa and Momo, they look fine. They look fine. They look cool. They look great. They look way better than their movie counterpart. Oh my God, what was that? Oh, that Momo and that Appa. Why was Appa like that? I don't understand what those wooden legs. Oh my God, so many questions about the design. But I noticed something about Momo. It wasn't his design, but it was in his voice. I'm gonna play the clip here. I don't know if that's like synthetic or it's animated or what it is, but from my ears and growing up, they're missing a key component of what makes Momo and Appa great. D. Bradley Baker. Who? Now I know some of you made the Soldier Boy face like, who the hell is D. Bradley Baker? And it's fine, a lot of people don't know who that is, but D. Bradley Baker is probably, if not the greatest, one of the greatest voice actors of all time. Creature voice actors, in fact. You've heard him as Perry the Platypus, heard him as Klaus on American Dad. He's a Clone Troopers and everything. He's just an icon living and has done so much work. And I remember when I saw an interview that detailed him doing the voice for Momo and Appa.
They just give me a drawing of the creature, and I look at it, and then I make sounds that I think that creature would make.
I was blown away that one man could bring so much life to these creatures and make them human, if that makes sense. Like, making them their own thing, because in the show, Appa and Momo are their own thing. Like, they're not just creatures to the side. They play an integral part, and a big key component of that is how they sound. How the sounds that D. Bradley Baker has created for Appa and Momo has helped add it to their cuteness and their longevity and who they are as characters in the show. And it doesn't sound like D is doing the voice for Momo, and it doesn't sound as cute. It doesn't sound as cute. And I know that's not going to be like a big major turnoff, but to me, that's such an important part of Momo and Appa is how they sound, and how D. Bradley Baker is a monster and can literally just bust out all of these cool creature voices and noises and all of that and make these characters really come to life. I love Momo and Appa because of how animated they are and how they sound and what D is doing in the studio with these two characters. And from the sound of what's going on in the Netflix show, it sounds like D's not doing them. And to me, that's such a massive problem. And that's a massive problem because, one, I grew up listening to it, so I'm just so used to Momo and Appa sounding like that. 2, D. Bradley Baker's work as a creature voice actor is very specific. Like, that's a very niche part of voice acting that not a lot of voice actors have. Like, everyone gives it up to D, and of course Frank Welker, who's done a ton of those creature voices, like from Lion King to Aladdin. You've heard him in everything. Mortal Kombat, even the original 90s movie that came out, he did some creature voice work for there. And all of that is so important. It helps add to the life and flavor of these creatures and characters, is how they're able to make them come to life and just make them their own thing. And D. Bradley Baker not being a part of the series, which I don't know, like, I forgot to preface this, but I don't know if D is in this show or not. I have no knowledge. No one's told me anything. I don't know. I know I speak to voice actors all the time, but I have no idea if D. Bradley Baker's in this show or not. I'm just going off of what I hear and what I'm used to hearing from the Avatar show. It doesn't sound like D's doing it, which to me is a huge disservice. Momo, from the little clip we heard, it just sounds like he's kind of there, you know. And obviously I'm not seeing what their role is in the show or what they're going to do, or hell, maybe that is D. Bradley Baker and he's just doing a different thing for the live action series. Again, I have no idea. I'm just speculating, but to me, that's such an integral part that's missing if D. Bradley Baker is indeed not voicing. What he did with them is so powerful and cool and really just helps bring them to life whenever they're doing anything. And it's such a shame that if D. Bradley Baker is not in this, I feel like you're taking a lot away from their character. Momo sounds like the cutest thing ever, but he's just so full of energy, so energetic. He's like, I'm sorry, D, if you're watching this. I did not mean to disrespect your work like that. But he's just so full of energy, so lively all over the place. And from the little voice clip I've heard in the Netflix show, it just doesn't sound as energized, if that makes sense. It just doesn't sound as Momo. Doesn't sound as Momo. I'm very curious to see what Appa sounds like. I don't think we've heard what Appa has sounded like yet. I haven't really been keeping up with all the promo stuff, so if there has, link it to me so I can listen to it and see what's going on. But D. Bradley Baker not being in this, if he isn't, like I said, again, I don't know if he's in this or not, but if he is not in this, we have a massive problem. Think about it. Think about when you hear Momo and Appa, and just think about all the life that comes out from those simple noises that are being created by D. It wouldn't be the same if it wasn't him, right? Like if it was a different thing, if it was a different actor doing it, or if they just like mix some computer generated voices together, which, you know, that's a whole thing going on with the AI stuff and these companies trying to one-up voice actors and stuff and all that stuff. But you know, they've done that in the past too to help add and do things to the voice. So I'm genuinely very curious, but from what I've heard, it's a very disheartening thing if D is not in this. And from what I've heard of Momo, it's not giving me Momo. It's giving me background character number one. It's giving me background creature number one. That voice doesn't give me like Momo and Appa are gonna be doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but D. Bradley Baker's character voices and tone and what he's done for these characters and how he's helped bring them to life in the show cannot be understated. He's made Momo this cute, energetic, lively character, and he's made Appa this big, strong, in the chest creature. If D's not in it, it's a massive thing that's being lost, especially in terms of these two phenomenal characters in the show. They're their own characters, plain and simple. And if you're not gonna have D do them, who else? Like I said, creature voices are very difficult, and it's a very niche thing that a very few set of voice actors have. I highly doubt Netflix is going to find another person to do it. They're just probably gonna do like computer voices, which I don't know, man. Like that just takes the life out of these two phenomenal characters in the show, and it will be a massive thing missing from this series, and will definitely affect how I view both of these characters in the show. It will be based on how they sound. Like I said, D brought so much life just through simply his creature voice noises. So yeah, man, that's how I feel. I have a bunch of feelings on just the voice actors and him not being in it. If he's not in it, I hope he's in it. I hope that little piece that we heard of Momo was like a fluke, or like when we go onto the show, it just becomes more animated as it goes along, because it's so important, those creature voices that D does for both of these characters. So I hope that he's in it. I hope that is not what Momo is going to sound like throughout the series. And I hope Momo and Appa have a lot to do in the live action show. That's like I'm saying, man, like there's so much you can do in animation that you can't really do in live action, that I'm so curious how they're going to bring over to the live action show. Like I said, I'm not rooting against this show. I have my issues. I have things that I feel are missing from the live action show, but I hope it's good overall. I'm not rooting for anyone to lose in this situation. I hope the performances are great, and I do hope I have an enjoyable time with it. But yeah, man, that's all I gotta say on the Avatar The Last Airbender live action trailer. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Sorry, I hit the mic right there. Love to have a conversation with you guys. I hope it's good. I hope it's at least decent. Listen. It will not be worse than the movie. It simply cannot be worse than the movie. By how much, however, remains to be seen. But I'm rooting for everyone. Hope it's fun. Gonna be watching it with my boy Derek, and I just hope to have a good time with it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on my next YouTube video. Peace, be blessed, and stay safe. Till next time.